Hi guys, welcome back to the weird side of YouTube. I'm your host, author Geesey Knife, and this is The Writing Rainbow, a show where I do all kinds of writing all the time, and I give writing advice. I talk about my own writing. I talk about your writing. I talk about the writing of movies, music, video games, all kinds of writing. Just writing all the time. And today we are getting back to doing writing advice, and I haven't done a writing advice video in a really long time, so I'm very excited to get back to it. And as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about how to create a character. This could be for your writing, your stories, creative writing, any kind of story, whether it's going to be a novel or just for fun. It could also be like for a Dungeons and Dragons type role playing game that you would like to do. So I'm really excited to get into it. So let's get weird. All right, I do have a character page that I have worked on, a character biography page, and you'll be able to download this in the link in description. This goes over all kinds of things that I think are needed for a character. Like I said, you can make this for a role-playing game, but for the purposes of this video and what I use this for, this is my one-stop shop of how to create a character, everything I need. Even info that like you might not remember or just little fun facts about your characters. That's the whole thing. It's like you don't really know your characters unless you kind of know them in and out. You know them as a person, as if they're real. You know them in and out, like I said, and you just know everything about them. And I know that's kind of daunting when you think about it, but this is why we write it down. Yes. So there is a lot of work that goes into writing characters, and not a lot of people realize it. So the first part of the sheet is the basic information sheet. That's your character's age, their name, aliases or nicknames, their nationality, and their culture. Nationality and culture are very different. My nationality is American, my culture is queer. Um, I do not have a token American culture. I don't really enjoy it. I think it's kind of dumb. No offense. But that's my culture and the difference between my nationality. If you're writing a fantasy character, like maybe they're an elf originally, they're from like the Elven Kingdom, that's their nationality. However, they were raised by dwarves for some reason. So their culture could be dwarven, as an example. And in real life, if you're making like a romance or a contemporary novel, maybe they were a white person adopted by a black family, and their culture, they know a lot more about black culture than white culture because they were, raised in a black family. They're invited to the cookout. I know that was cringe as fuck, and if you're a black person, you're probably like dying of cringe, but it's okay. The next one is physical attributes. So this is your race, your skin color, hair color and style, eye color and shape, scars, piercings, tattoos, and body type. Yes, race and skin color are two different things. Say you have a black person. Are they light skinned? Are they dark skinned? Are they somewhere in between? You have a white person, and white people come in different shades as well. You can have a tan white person, a caramel skinned white person, or someone that looks dead like me. Very, very white, ghostly. Hair color and style, that's kind of, self explanatory, or they could be bald. Um, Eye color and shape, a lot of people don't realize that eye colors are very uh, important because when you're talking about a character, a lot of times you don't have to say dialogue. You can describe how their eyes are looking. You don't have to say they were angry. You could say uh, their eyes shot up to his gaze as their brows furrowed in aggravation or something. And it's always better to give details like that. Like if they have blue eyes, say their blue eyes shot up. So that's always fun. And eye shapes, everyone has different eye shapes. A lot of people don't realize that. They just kind of let it happen. I like almond shaped eyes. My mom has almond shaped eyes. I don't think I have them. I don't know what kind of eye shape I have, like oval. I don't know. Um, Next is scars, piercings, and tattoos. This is very important. Also, I should put like wrinkles or face age. Okay, I also put wrinkles, freckles, other facial markings, which like my yeah, my dark circles. Um, and tattoos. Tattoos are always an identifiable mark. Make sure they go with your character's personality, or if they don't, maybe they regret them. Some cute backstory banter right there for you. But like, I got my vampire bite as an example because I was obsessed with vampires and I was gothy as a kid. Same reason for these. I got these to remind myself not to harm myself as a teenager. I got my little witch mark, witch kiss because I'm into witches. I got a pentagram right here. Pentacle. Sorry, for the nip slip. I also have bat wings on my back. So that's because I was super gothy. So make sure they go along with your character's like personality, the things that he like, his style, or her maybe beliefs, maybe cultural. Tattoos can be very cultural, so they're a very important part of your character's physical description. These are just things that you can describe in your character to make them unique, make them stand out. You've heard of main character syndrome. Like if you're watching an anime, usually the person with the crazy pink spiky hair is the main character. There's a reason for that. You want your main character to stand out. You want all your characters to stand out really and be unique. I know that kind of sounds silly because if they're all standing out, none of them are really. But you all want them. Fucking gnat. Sorry. You want them all to be unique. And the last one is body type for physical attributes. You can have thin people, muscular people, curvy people, short, tall, anything like that. It's kind of self-explanatory, just whatever you want your character to look like, really. The next might ruffle some feathers, but gender identity, sexuality, and expression. So, I'm going to list them all and explain them. Sex assigned at birth. For instance, I am cisgender, so I was assigned male at birth. Second, gender identity. Like I said, I'm cisgender. I identify, as male, as a man, and I was assigned male at birth, so I am cisgender. Sexual orientation is different from that as well. For example, I am gay. I'm attracted to other men. You could also have asexual, where you don't have any attraction to people at all. You can also have heterosexual, obviously. Bisexuality, pansexuality, basically any kind of sexuality you can think of. Whether or not your character is polyamorous or monogamous would go here as well. And I know a lot of people don't really think about that when it comes to like romance novels or really any kind of novel unless you are polyamorous. But I tend to enjoy making some very different characters from each other, and sometimes I make polyamorous characters. Whether they're in like triads or polycules, or the two of them have open relationships and have relationships with other people, or they're all together. It's pretty interesting. I would like to say to keep it. It keeps it fresh. It keeps all the characters different. I had a short story that I have not released. It was about a coven of witches, 3 gay male witches that were all polyamorous together and in love. They all had different powers, and it was really cute. That was back when I was polyamorous. I am no longer polyamorous. I realized I'm not polyamorous. I just wanted to see if I was. I had a lot of bad relationships, bad triads where people took advantage of me and abused me and treated me like I was less than the other two, less important. So that sucks. I don't think they were polyamorous either, because they did not treat me like a polyamorous person would. I think they were just using me, to be honest. So I'm not trying to bash polyamory at all. I quite enjoy the dynamic of three men being in love, or two women and a man being in love, or whatever have you. Polyamory is beautiful to me, just like monogamy is. Love is beautiful in general. I just think that a lot more people should include polyamory in their love stories. The next is fashion style. That is more like the gender expression. Like, you could be a cisgender person, but like to dress up in the opposite gender's clothes just for fun, for fashion purposes. You could also put like, they dress very punk here. Mostly it's like feminine or masculine styles, but you can also put like descriptors of their actual fashion, like say you have a gothic character who wears a lot of black makeup and wears black all the time, or a very floral, colorful pastel girl that's very sweet and bubbly. You usually want your character's fashion choices and appearance to reflect who they are on the inside, or you can go the opposite way and make like a very sweet, sensitive, but very angry looking like biker dude who likes flowers. That's always fun too. The opposites are always cute, I think. But first, a word from our sponsors. And now back to our regularly scheduled shenanigans. And abilities, this is mostly for like fantasy novels, so if you're writing a contemporary book or romance or horror, you don't have to, well, some of them you can. The first is strengths, obviously what your character is good at. Weaknesses, these are more personality based things. For example, like my strength would be I'm a good listener. My weakness is I get bored easily, which kind of cancels each other out. But you know what I mean, those are just examples. Weapons, if any, they use weapons like a sword or shield. Magic, if any, if they have like, they can control fire, or they're a witch, anything like that. They conjure things, they summon things, they're a necromancer, anything like that. Skills and proficiencies could be a number of things. Whether you're in a fantasy world, you could also be really good at adventuring and finding where you are, or surviving in the wilderness. However, if you are writing a contemporary or romance, it could also be something as simple as my main female love interest really likes to paint. She's very good at painting and it's very pretty and she does a very good job. Or like my male love interest is he works on cars. He's really good at working on cars. He has his own business, stuff like that. Personality is next. This is the fun part for me. Hobbies. Do they like cooking? Do they like video games? Do they like hiking? Do they like watching TV? Do they like making art? Just whatever you think would be good with their personality. I like to find unique things. Like one of my characters specifically likes making watercolor paintings. Another one is really into cooking and fighting. Another one is into music, making music and listening to music. Next is zodiac sign. I like to do this because it makes it fun for me. You can also make them in between if you're into zodiac stuff like that. I forgot what the word is, but like if you're on the cusp and you have, I know there's a chart for like 3 different versions: the moon sign, the sun sign, and another sign I forgot. I'm Taurus, that's all I know. I don't know my 3 signs, but this makes it fun for me because I'm a casual fan of zodiac signs, if you can tell. It's always fun to make them kind of they have the qualities of that zodiac sign. For instance, if I was to make a Taurus character, he would like food and sex. He would also be stubborn as hell, just very bohemian and into like natural, earthy, being naked kind of stuff. There's a word for it, and I forgot what it was. Oh well. Next is favorite movies, music, or video games, just favorites in general. Those are always fun, and they add a little bit of depth to your character. Interests could be like you are interested in world politics. You could be interested in the idea of becoming a thief if you're in a fantasy. You could be interested in art, in sports if you're in a regular contemporary novel. You could really be interested in anything. These are not the same as goals. Goals are their own separate category. Interests are just things that you're like, maybe you're studying or you're reading about or you're looking into, and you just enjoy the act of looking into them, not really having a goal out of them, just for fun. Kind of like hobbies, but a less physical kind of thing. Like instead of a hobby would be a video game, interests would be learning about the intricacies of a video game, if that makes sense. Like what goes into making it and everything. Quirks, I do love quirks. That's another thing that adds a little depth to your character. For instance, one of my characters, Theodore, in my novel Dream, has a quirk where he says a lot of 90s slang and does a lot of alliteration when he's insulting people. I like that a lot, and he's really good at insulting people. Like, not alliteration, but instead of Wicked Witch, he calls the villain Wicked Bitch. And he just has a lot of kind of clever twists on words like that. And I just find him really charming in that sense because he's really like quick to insult someone, and he does it in a funny way. Next is personality descriptors. This would be like your basic qualities of your personality, where he's patient, he's kind, he likes to be a good listener to his friends, he's always helping his friends, or he's brooding and he's dark and he doesn't talk a lot. He's a strong, silent type, that kind of thing. Next is wants, needs, desires, and goals. Like I said, these are different from interests. Whereas an interest is like, I enjoy learning about something just for the fun of it. Want, needs, desires, and goals are all 4 different things, but I put them in their own category. A goal is obviously like, I want to become a knight, if you're a fantasy. If you're in romance, I want to have a wife and kids. I don't know. Desires are, I want a lot of money. I want recognition. I want to be famous. Needs are kind of like that, but it's more like desperate for it. And also, obviously, a human needs like food, water, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to list that, but obviously. They're all kind of the same thing, but they're all separate if you need them to be. Next is connections, and this is just for your notes for your characters. Friends, obviously, people that you're not blood related to but you love. Family, people that you are blood related to that you love or dislike. that can go in there too. Love interest, and there's a little parentheses with an S in case your character is polyamorous. Obviously, self-explanatory. And the last one under connections is enemies. Hopefully some of your characters do not have enemies, especially if it's a contemporary romance or something along those lines, but if it's a fantasy, they probably do have enemies. Even if your character doesn't hate them and don't consider them an enemy, if that person is like going to betray them eventually, I would put them under this category. Like a Judas character, if you know for a fact the story is going to have a twist at the end and that character is going to betray the group and the main character, put them under this category. And last, it has the backstory. Now, you don't have to make it detailed, and you don't have to add any of this to the actual book itself if you're writing a book. Just writing these down and adding them to your characters' like lore and personality does a lot for getting to know your characters and how they would react to certain things, whether that's like what they would do in a certain situation or how they would reply to a certain character saying something. This just does a lot to help you as the writer. Like I said, you don't have to add every bit of this detail in. It's just for you and the character to give them a history. The backstory, as I said, does not have to go into the book itself, because if you have too much backstory, it's kind of a prequel. But they can fall back on it every now and then and mention it, maybe in passing to their friends, mention little parts here and there. That's always fun. Give the audience a little tidbit of the backstory. But yeah. But yeah, that's basically all my little plot points for a character biography. I will have a copy of this in the description. You can download it from my blog on my website if you want to print it or, change it to suit your needs, whether that's take away some of the fantasy elements, add more romantic stuff to it. That's all good on both. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it, and I love you. Don't forget to check out my shop, prismaticdreams.com. I also have a Patreon, link in description if you want to support me. I also released a new album, link in description for my Bandcamp. It is called By the Sword, and it is a collection of medieval fantasy instrumentals, whether you want to listen to it to write your fantasy novel or you want to listen to it to play your Dungeons & Dragons game. It's great, and I'm very proud of it. But other than that, I gotta get back to work. But I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.